So hello everyone and welcome to the Terp Family Fundamentals webinar series. My name is Danielle Walker. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Assistant Director in the Office of Family Engagement. For those of you that are new to this webinar, this series is intended to help family members and supporters become informed consultants on campus resources so that you can better support your Terps. In this special series, we are welcoming our newest Terps as well, and so I'm really excited to have both students and their family members tuning in. Today, we are joined by the Department of Resident Life. They will be discussing everything you need to know about the transition to on-campus living, roommate matching, and how family members can support their Terps as they navigate this process. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to submit those via the Q&A feature. So you can access the Q&A feature in the Zoom toolbar. If you don't see that, you may need to extend your toolbar, click the three dots that say more, and you'll be able to see the Q&A that way. To help us answer the majority of questions that you have, please use the upvote option. So within the questions, if you see one that you also would like the answer to, just click the thumbs up icon. That's an upvote, and so we'll be making sure we touch on those ones that have the most updates. We'll do our best to respond to as many questions as we can before the end of the webinar. And then lastly, this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the Terp Family YouTube channel tomorrow. So refer to your confirmation or reminder email, and there's a link there to our YouTube channel. So with that, I will hand off the presentation to Jasmine.
Thanks so much, Danny, and welcome to everyone. I know that we had an estimated more than 2,000 folks interested in joining us today, and that's really, really exciting. And first off, I want to say congratulations to our students on their acceptance to the University of Maryland. I know that this is an incredibly exciting time, and we're really excited to share some information with you about the Department of Resident Life and all about the Maryland residential experience. This webinar series, Maryland Living 101, is really developed with our students and families in mind to give you all the information that you need to really make sure that you will have your assignment ready when you move in August and have all of that bits of information that you need to know ahead of move-in and really get you prepared to come and meet us in August. So today we're going to be talking about understanding the roommate matching process. And I'm going to click to our next screen and talk a little bit about who it is that is going to be sharing this information with you all. Like I said, my name is Jasmine Pelez. I am the manager for communications and outreach on behalf of the Department of Resident Life. I am a proud alum of the university, and I also lived on campus all 4 years during my undergraduate experience. So it's incredibly exciting for me to be here with you, and I'm very passionate about our residence halls. And I'll turn it over to Glenn Smith to introduce himself.
Thanks, Jasmine. My name is Glenn Smith. I'm one of the assistant directors at the Department of Resident Life. I've been with the department for almost 17 years now. And one of my responsibilities is to oversee the assignments office, the ones who make your room assignments. And I'll give it back to Jasmine.
Thanks so much, Glenn. All right, so moving to our agenda today, what is it that we're going to be chatting about? So we're going to do an overview of the Maryland residential experience, a little bit more about the Department of Resident Life. We'll talk a little bit about our communities and our residence halls. We'll familiarize yourself with what it looks like on campus with our on-campus living options. We'll talk a little bit about living learning programs, what those are, what are the students that will be a part of those programs. And then we'll really dig in to the highlight of this webinar, which is really understanding the roommate finder process, the process by which you can choose a preferred roommate going in to the fall academic year. And then we'll end with some important reminders, things for you to keep in mind. And then, of course, we'll have time for some Q&A. So please, whatever questions you have, fill them in the chat, and then we'll really get to them either through a response in the chat or kind of go over them at the end of the webinar. So we will dig right in. So, like I said, welcome and congrats to our new on-campus Terps. We are incredibly excited to have you living on campus with us as part of the Maryland residential experience. And really the mission of the Department of Resident Life is to promote growth and learning and to help our students cultivate connections to the communities that they live in and to create safe and inclusive residential environments that really help to foster a sense of belonging. Like I mentioned, our focus really is to create communities that support growth and learning, opportunities for our students to connect with one another, to make friends along the way, and to feel comfortable in a space that is safe and inclusive and supports the idea that all of our students have a rightful place in our res halls. And a lot of these benefits are summarized, but by what we have listed here. Find Your Squad. We have programming completely devoted to really helping students branch out, get out of their shells, meet other new on-campus students and the rest of our on-campus residential population, and to begin forging those lifelong friendships. Additionally, our residential program is really adamant about helping our students make the grade, right? Our number one priority is to help students reach that graduation. We have dedicated study spaces in our residence halls and other resources throughout the academic year to really support students learning and getting connected to resources that will really help them make the grade. Additionally, we are always here for you. We have 24/7 support through many campus staff members, both professional staff and our incredible student staff members. If there is any support that our students need, we are on hand to really help and make sure that our students are thriving in the residence halls. Additional location. You cannot beat living on campus. You can, I hope this doesn't happen, but if it needs to, you can literally roll out of bed and go to class and still make it on time by living on campus with us. Usually it's a very short walk and it really provides an essential space where you're immersed in everything, all in one place. And then the opportunity for you to do your thing. We will really make an effort to connect you with all campus events. Your RA will likely encourage you to go to events with them, to find campus organizations and clubs, and really find your thing and what it is that you want to be a part of, and special interests that you have, and ways to tap into all of that. All of that is part of the Maryland residential experience and something that we're really excited for our more than 9,000 students to take part in come fall. So I'll talk a little bit now about our communities, and I'll pass it over to Glenn to chat a little bit about what our communities on campus look like.
Thanks, Jasmine. Our 7 communities span the entire University of Maryland campus and are composed of multiple residence halls. For example, Denton community includes Denton Hall, Easton, and Elkton halls. New to housing students, including first-year students, will be placed in several communities on both North and South Campus. Students may live on South Campus for many reasons, including to accommodate those who wish to live close to Hillel and those who wish to be assigned to Cecil Hall, which is our female-only building. Additionally, this helps to accommodate our larger incoming class and living learning program students. The vast majority of our housing consists of double rooms, meaning most students will have a roommate. We do have some triples and quads as well. While there are singles in some residence halls, those rooms tend to be filled with returning students. So first year students should plan on having at least one roommate in some capacity. Next slide. In the residence hall, students can expect to find our standard furniture package, which includes a bed, a desk chair, dresser, and closet space. Once you move in, you'll be able to move the furniture around to meet your needs along with your roommate. Wired and wireless internet is also available in the rooms. As far as other amenities in the residence hall, students have access to laundry facilities, either directly in their floors or in the newer buildings or in the basement. Laundry is included in the student housing fees. Our service desks are available to accommodate students 24 hours, 7 days a week, and are able to help in a variety of ways. The community assistants help to sort the mail, check out packages, manage spare keys, and swipe cards for access to the buildings, and help students get connected to campus resources. They are also here if you need to help getting connected with other on-call staff. Beyond our community assistance, we have on-call staff accessible every night and throughout the weekends, and our maintenance staff are just a call away. Next slide. Our living learning programs are residential communities where students live together and connect over shared interests and academic goals. Living learning programs are housed in residence halls across campus. For example, in the honors community, those living learning programs consist of gemstones, H-Glow, honors humanities, university honors, and etc. Next. We know living learning program students are excited about their options and possibilities in taking part in their program. Please know that each LLP varies, so it's important to consult with your program director to ensure that you have the right information. Here are 2 frequently asked questions. Can I live in a non-program room? Can I live with a non-program roommate? That really depends on the living learning program. There's a full list that will be located on the housing portal for which you can see. You can also contact our office if you're not sure. Another question is that are students required to live in a living learning program designated building? Again, that depends on the program. So please contact your program and review their website for that information. As a helpful resource to our living learning program students, the housing portal will display important information for you to keep in mind during the roommate finder process. This includes outlining programs that do not allow for you to request someone outside your living learning program and those that do. Next.
Here's the fun part. So we created a instructional video about the roommate finder process. So we'll take a look at this now. This will also be shared with all of our students in a follow-up email, which will also include this recording, and it's available on our YouTube page. But we'll share it now just to give students idea of our roommate finder process, which begins on Monday. And this kind of goes step by step of how to take part and potentially find a roommate.
Hi, Terps. Thank you for choosing to live in the residence halls and participate in the Maryland residential experience. You'll be surrounded by other Terps who, like you, are beginning this exciting new chapter. We are happy to offer our roommate finder process to help students find a potential roommate before the request deadline. We hope this video will help you navigate the process, so let's get started. First, log into the housing portal and click on New Resident Roommate Finder. Next, you'll see the current housing term for this upcoming academic year, so click Continue. On the next page, you will see roommate guidelines for residents in living learning programs, or LLPs. If you're in a living learning program, please be sure that any roommate you're requesting to live with aligns with your living learning program's guidelines. Scroll down this page to begin searching for a roommate. You can search either by indicating a specific student's 9-digit university ID number, or UID, or browse multiple students by selecting Search for Roommate by Profile. Here, you must select at least one profile question to begin your search. For example, how often you'd like to have guests in your room, or your preferred location to study. You will then see potential roommates listed by your match compatibility. We recommend beginning with 1 or 2 questions. Keep in mind that selecting all questions will likely narrow the result of your search. No roommate pair will be perfect, so don't worry if you don't see a 100% match. Matches are only based on your application responses, so be sure to talk with a potential roommate about anything else that may be important to you. Within the results, you can view someone's profile, which will also show if they are in a living learning program. We are not able to guarantee that students will become roommates if their LLP guidelines don't align. You can send a message to anyone on your list. We encourage you to get to know someone beyond the questions in the application to determine if you might be a good match for one another. Once you find a potential roommate match, you must add them to your group. Do this by clicking the Add to Group button, which will automatically send that student an invitation. The potential roommate must then log into the housing portal themselves and accept the invitation for the group to be created successfully. If the invitation is not accepted, a roommate pairing will not be created, so be sure you and your preferred roommate do their part. If you have someone in mind that you want to request as your roommate, you can also use their UID to search for and request them. If you'd like to create a roommate group of more than 2 students, such as a triple or a quad group, you and your preferred roommates must email us at reslife@umd.edu and include all of the involved students' UID numbers. If you have any questions along the way, we're here to help. Hi, Terps. Thank you for...
Sorry about that. And I'll hand it back over to Glenn.
So if you haven't already done so, please jot down that the roommate finder will be from June 16th to June 25th. We'll also send you a few reminders along the way. During this time, roommate finder will be live and accessible through the housing portal. It's also important to know that the roommate finder process is completely optional. There's no pressure if you don't find a roommate match. There's no pressure if you're not interested in participating. There are countless success stories of students who were manually assigned by Resident Life and became really great roommates. You can begin your search by searching through the roommate preferences. If you have a specific roommate in mind and you have already agreed to become roommates, then you can use the search by UID, university ID number, and send them a roommate request, but please do so by June 25th so we can make sure that the request is mutual and we can approve it. To help along the way, here are some helpful tips. Identify the most important criteria in your search for a roommate. Try not to be too specific, as this can narrow down your search, your options. Keep an open mind, and again, if you don't find a match by June 26th, June 25th is no problem. Don't worry. There's no pressure to find a roommate match. Next. So after roommate finder is complete, what happens next? Our assignments and public inquiry office will get to work on your fall 2025 assignment. We will consider multiple factors in determining a residence assignment, which can include the following list. For students who are interested in forming roommates groups with more than one resident, please email our team. Let me go back. So the multiple factors that we will consider is the date of the application, the living and learning program participation, any medical accommodations that you may have, housing options such as I want to live near Hillel, I want the female building in Cecil, I want to live in a substance-free environment. And then at the end of the day, it really depends on what spaces we have available. Remember that our returning students selected back in March. So whatever spaces that remain is where we will assign our incoming students. If students wish to be in a triple and quad, meaning they have more than just one roommate in mind, both students would need to send us an email, include their name, their full name, their university ID number, and then the roommate's full name and their university ID number. For students who are interested in forming roommates with more than one, please email our team. Roommate Finder is designed to unite 2 roommates. It's not designed to unite 2 roommates, so any additional roommates will have to be managed separately by our team. Now let's discuss the living learning programs for a minute. If you are in a living learning program, you will see only other students within your program. If you wish to have a non-program roommate, again, each living learning program has their own separate policies. So please contact us with your full name, your university ID number, and the same for your intended roommate, and we will respond. One of the most common questions is, how do I request a specific building or a room type? Incoming students are assigned to existing vacancies which can be anywhere on campus. That includes suites, apartments, any unused spaces in living learning programs, and possibly traditional floors where there are mostly returning students. Finally, remember to update your profile on the housing portal if there's been any changes to your address, your roommate preferences, or housing options such as living near hello. Students who are in living learning programs must consider which is most important to them to live in one of their housing options or to be in their living learning program. And if they have a roommate, make sure that both are on the same page. Next slide.
Wonderful. So we're going to wrap up with a couple of reminders and some things that we can look forward to. As far as important reminders, please note that the deadline for disability and medical accommodation requests was at the end of May. But if you do need to register, we really encourage you to contact the Accessibility and Disability Office as soon as you can. And another big reminder, we encourage you, if you're interested in finding a potential roommate, to participate in Roommate Finder next week. All of our eligible students will receive an email on Monday indicating that the housing portal is live, that Roommate Finder is live, and for you to participate if you wish to. As Glenn mentioned, it is completely optional, so there's no pressure to find a roommate. If you are interested, that'll be available beginning on Monday. And then also, we really look forward to seeing you again throughout the summer with our Maryland Living 101 webinar series. Our next webinar will be on Thursday, July 10th at 12:30, so the same time. And we'll really talk about our assignment release. Assignments will be released on July 17th. So we'll meet together for another webinar a week before that, just to talk through what's included in your assignment release and some possible next steps. And then later on in August, we will be talking about all things Mastering Move-In Day. So we really look forward to also chatting with you all and seeing you all in August, just before move-in begins. We will cover all the things that you need to know, what to bring, what not to bring, when to come on campus to move in, and all of that good stuff. If you have any questions, we really encourage you to check out our new students webpage. This is really completely devoted to our new to housing students. So if you have any questions, that's a really, really great starting place. And that link is provided at the bottom of this slide here. Okay. And now we'll take the remaining time to share some of the frequently asked questions in the chat. And Danny, I don't know if there are any in particular that we saw a lot of folks asking, but happy to go over those again.
Yes, thank you. So I was also looking at the YouTube chat as well and trying to take questions from there because we have a lot of folks joining us there. So I'll start with some of the questions that I found. And as folks who were helping answer the Q&A via the Zoom, if you have any, I'll pause throughout and give some time for you all to share more about those questions too. One that I saw a lot was regarding students in one living learning program or LLP being able to room with someone in a different LLP or someone not in an LLP at all. So can you answer, can students live with someone not in a living learning program or in a different living learning program?
I got it, Jasmine. So it really depends on the programs. Every program is different. And as we mentioned earlier, you should reach out to your living learning program. Reach out to us. We'll be able to answer that. But each program is going to be specific. For the most part, the students who are in different living learning programs can live together. Space is available. Students can have non-program roommates, again, if space is available, but then it does vary from program to program.
Thank you. There were also some questions about lofting beds, and I know there's a process for micro fridges. Can you share a little bit about that or where folks can find information about that?
Yeah, so a lot of this information we are going to share actually in our next webinar. I know that families and students are probably really excited to get all of that information in. A lot of that will be shared in our July webinar. Um, Dan, I don't know if there's any additional information you want to share about any of those vendors.
Sure, I can jump in. Hello, Dan Harefield, Program Manager for Residential and Community Engagement. So we have a few different vendors available for students. The first is our Bedloft program, bedloft.com, where if students want to raise their bed to bunk bed level height, they can put in a request after they receive their housing assignment on July 17th. And if they get their request in before August 10th, then the bed loft will be installed in the room before they arrive on campus for move-in. Similarly, we do have another partnership with myfridgerental.com. My Fridge Rental provides both mini fridges and what we call micro fridges. While we don't allow microwaves in most of our buildings directly in the individual student rooms, micro fridges rented through this program are allowed in all of our residence halls, only one micro fridge per room. So students, roommates can work together to identify if they'd like to put in for a rental request for one of these micro fridges. Similarly, they will put the request in after July 17th, get it in before August 10th, and they'll have the opportunity to have that delivered to the room before they arrive on campus. Both vendors will be around during the move-in process, so they'll be able to support you or take late orders and then get the deliveries done sometime during the first few weeks of classes. We also have a partnership with IKEA. We're going to be doing a special shopping shuttle program during the first week of class. They're going to be with us at our fall welcome programming, all of the exciting activities that we host during the first opening weekend with students. So we have all sorts of resources available for you.
Thank you. And again, we will be having 2 additional webinars this summer, so definitely plan to join us for those so you can get all of that information. The next one, how can students tour residence halls or get an idea of what the spaces look like?
So while we don't have tours specifically from the Department of Resident Life, there are tours on campus daily that you can sign up for. If you want to see pictures of the residence halls, they are located in our residence halls. So you'll be able to see the various room type images. Students also can log in to see floor plans of specific buildings. I recommend you wait until you actually get your room assignment to do that. But if you just want to get a sense of what the rooms look like and not able to do the tour, there are pictures online.
On our Resident Life webpage, we have our Halls at a Glance page. You can also see on our website, reslife.umd.edu, that we have 360 tours of different types of rooms. So if you're interested in seeing a double, a triple, all what a suite looks like, what do one of our apartments look like, all of that is available on our website. I would say that that is a really, really great starting point when you have any questions about the on-campus housing options. Our website is a really great starting place. Additionally, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us but through the contact information on this slide.
Thank you. The next question, and then I'll pause for some of the folks answering Q&A to answer any questions. Do you recommend students ship items prior to arrival or wait until they arrive to have any items shipped to campus?
I can take that one. So yes, when students receive their room assignments on July 17th, we ask that they delay any shipments to campus until the day after they arrive. We do not have the space to store students' packages prior to arrival, but once they arrive on campus and they've had their option, their packages shipped, they can go to their service desk, and their service desk will be able to provide that. The service desk will also send them an email letting them know that the packages are on campus. But please do not send anything before they arrive.
Thank you. So for the staff who are answering questions in the Q&A, is there anything that you want to touch on before I uh, go through the other questions that I had? Perfect. I will keep going. The next question, for washers and dryers, is there a cost to use those, and where are they located? Is there one in every residence hall? Can you speak a little bit about that?
So the cost for washers and dryers are baked into your rates and fees. So it's not like you have to carry a bag of quarters every single time that you want to do laundry. I will note that most of the washers and dryers are located in the basement of particular residence halls. That's mostly true for our traditional halls. Again, after you receive your assignment, you'll be able to identify which building you'll be in, and then you can go onto our website to look at that building in particular and get more information about where that laundry facility is located. But no, you do not have to pay every single time you go and do laundry. We had to do that way back in the day, but that is no longer. It's absolutely baked into your rates and fees.
Thank you. Uh, Another question I received a lot, especially in the YouTube chat, uh, are the residence halls cleaned for students or their specific room, or do they need to be maintained by the residents who are living in that space?
That is a really great question. Coming on campus, being a part of the college experience is the perfect time for you to share in that more independent living style. We have an incredible housekeeping staff that will clean the public areas of our residence halls, including the communal restrooms, the lounge spaces, but they will not clean your room. So parents and families, I really encourage you over the summer, maybe work in a couple lessons about doing laundry, keeping a room clean. We encourage students to bring cleaning supplies with them, right? If you can bring like a duster and a dustpan, and just really take this opportunity to learn those skills if you haven't already. But no, housekeeping staff will not clean any student's individual room or living space.
Just to be clear, we're talking about once the students moved in. Prior to the students moving in, all the rooms will be cleaned and maintained. But after the students move in, it's their responsibility. And those students who live in suites and apartments and semi-suites, and they have a bathroom, they're responsible for cleaning the bathrooms themselves. Students who are in traditional halls that have the community bathrooms, our housekeeping staff, who again does a wonderful job, will make sure that those bathrooms are cleaned several times throughout the day.
Thank you. Um, and this may be one that we'll touch on in the next webinar, but since I'm not sure, are there items residents are not permitted to bring? And if so, where can they find the list of not permitted and permitted items?
Yes. Oh, can you all hear me? Is my audio working? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there are absolutely items that students are not allowed to bring. Up the top of my head, in particular, micromobility scooters are not permitted in the residence hall, so do not bring one on campus. I will say that we will absolutely share more information about the what to bring and what not to bring. In the meantime, we do have a webpage that I can share in the Q&A about move-in that has more information about what to bring, what not to bring. Also, if you are attending any orientation session with Resident Life, we created these handouts that specifically list things to bring, things not to bring. So if you haven't already participated in orientation, you can look forward to that. Otherwise, you can also find it on our website. So I will add that link in the chat in just a moment. But all of that information will definitely be covered more in-depthly in our upcoming webinars. Today, really, the focus was how do you find a roommate if you're interested?
Perfect. Thank you. I see in the YouTube chat there were some questions about transportation and if students can have cars on campus. On the Department of Transportation Services website, there's all the information you could need about having vehicles on campus and what the easiest way to get to a metro station would be, and other types of public transportation. So I encourage you to search the Transportation Services website. It's transportation.umd.edu, and that will give you all the information you need about parking, bike storage, metro, airport, all of that kind of stuff. I want to be cognizant of time. So for the folks who are managing the Q&A, as well as Jasmine and Glenn, are there any last minute notes that you want to make before we sign off for today? And if you do have questions that aren't answered through the chat or the Q&A today, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Department of Resident Life or myself with family engagement, and I can help answer those questions as well.
I would say overall, if you are interested in finding a roommate, I really encourage you to take part in Roommate Finder that will begin on Monday. Additionally, we know that students and families have a ton of questions about what to bring, what not to bring, all of our move-in information. I assure you we will get all of those answered further into the summer. And like I mentioned before, our website is an incredible resource. So I really encourage you, take a look at that, peruse, get to know more about our communities, our residence halls, information about move-in. And if you ever have a question that you aren't seeing that's being answered on our website, please do not hesitate to email us at reslife@umd.edu. We have a staff completely devoted to all things assignments and residence hall questions, and we're happy to connect with you there. Additionally, you can call us at the number listed there, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we'll get back to you as soon as you can. But really utilize the website as a resource. And like I mentioned, we will be sending a follow-up email with the recording of this webinar and including the Roommate Finder tutorial video to our students. It'll be a little bit more tailored to them with information about Roommate Finder. In addition, all participants will hear from Terp Families, Danny and her team, with a recording of the webinar as well.
Thank you so much. And can you go back to the slide with the different dates for our next webinars? Yes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
our next webinar you'll see here, Thursday, July 10th, will be about assignment release and what's next. And then on Thursday, August 7th at 7 p.m. will be Mastering Move-In Day. So I definitely encourage you to join us for that. In the same email that you use to register for this webinar are the links to register for those other webinars. And again, this has been recorded, so it'll be available on the YouTube channel later today or tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that, and you'll get an email from, if you're a family member supporter, you'll get an email from me. If you're a student joining us, you'll get an email from Resident Life with links to that information as well. So thank you all so much for joining us today.
Danielle, before we go,
Go ahead.
there was a few questions that I put answered live. I know one of them, a couple of them was regarding, I have a roommate who is on the wait list. So I do want to touch base on that. That was a great question. Students who are on the wait list are not eligible to participate in Roommate Finder. Having said that, if they receive housing at any point during Roommate Finder, which again is June 16th to the 25th, at that point, they will be able to participate in Roommate Finder. So where again, our goal is to get all the freshman connection students on the wait list, to provide them housing as soon as possible. We're monitoring cancellations to ensure that we have space for them. So I would just ask students to continue to check their email. But as of today, if your roommate is on the wait list, they are not eligible for Roommate Finder.
Thank you, Glenn. Were there any other Answer Live questions that were there? I'm scrolling through.
Yeah, there were, but I don't remember what they were.
Okay, let me see if I can find them, if there were other ones before I log off. Um, oh, it was about food allergies and
Oh yeah.
students who have allergies, rooming with someone who may have similar allergies or no allergies.
Yeah, again, another great question. So when you do Roommate Finder and you search for students via the roommate preferences, you'll have the option of being able to chat with that student to find out more about them. The Roommate Finder itself has very limited information. You can look up a student's profile, but you won't see medical things. So that's a question that you should, if you're interested, everything else matches, go ahead and send them a chat to find out more about um, if they have a allergy, if they are willing to live with someone who does have an allergy. Those are questions to ask during that chat.
Thank you. I think that was the only other Answer Live question that I saw. Um, but we will go through these, and what we may do is if there were a lot of questions that we weren't able to get to, we may be able to plug those into some of our future webinars just to make sure the information gets out there for folks. Um, so I do want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. Uh, Jasmine, if you can go to the last slide again, that slide will have the contact information for Resident Life. So if you do have any remaining questions, please feel free to reach out to their office, and they'll be happy to assist. I do want to remind everyone that this webinar was recorded, and so I will be loading that onto our Terp Family YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, type in Terp Family, you'll find it there. It was also linked in the confirmation and reminder emails. I'll also be sending out a survey to get your feedback on our session today. So please let us know how we did, how we can improve, and any other topics you would like to learn about in the future. We welcome your thoughts, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.